I'm Noah Williams, and there's a common question in the NFL world if running backs are underpaid. And today, with my project, I decided to answer that question using performance and salary data. To do this, I used expected points added, or EPA, which is a metric that tells how much a team's chance of scoring increases or decreases every play. So an example of this could be if JSN caught a 20-yard pass, moving the Seahawks from the 50 to their opponent's 30, the team's chance or expected points moves from 2 to 4.5, meaning that the play would be worth plus 2.5 EPA. Now looking at salary versus performance, I took the top 20 or top 50 wide receivers and running backs from the 2025 season, ranked in total EPA, the blue being running backs and then the orange being wide receivers. First, looking at it, you see the wide receivers are closer together, meaning that there's more of a correlation between salary rank and EPA rank versus the running backs are more spread out. And this is supported by the R-squared values, being the running or the wide receivers R-squared value is bigger than the running backs, but they're both significantly low, meaning that there is a weak correlation between the two. So I decided to compare the actual numbers, total EPA versus contract, and I created a value which was EPA per $1 million, and wide receivers EPA per million was 18.5, but the running backs was significantly lower at 1.7. By this, wide receivers produce 10 times more value than running backs, but this can be explained by there's less premium running backs or good running backs in the league as wide receivers are more utilized, and wide receivers aren't put in positions to get negative EPA versus running backs are. Like a carry on 3rd and 10, you may get 8 yards, but it's still 4th and 2, and that would still be considered a negative EPA play if they aren't in field goal range, versus wide receivers are given opportunities to get positive yards. And some examples of players being the underpaid ones or the people who outperform their salaries, Puka Nacua and Devon Achane. As you can see, they have super high EPA in performance, but a low salary rank off to the left. And then some players who are like underperforming their salaries are DJ Moore and David Montgomery, as they have super low performance rank but high salary. They're veterans. And then we have Jamar Chase and Derrick Henry. These are second contract players, but they are stars. They're the best in the league, and they get paid to do that. And as said, there's a difference between the rookies and the second contract players, so I decided to split it up between players on rookie deals and non-rookie deals. So the orange is still wide receivers and the blue being running backs, but it's representing the top 25 wide receivers and running backs on rookie deals. And the purple line represents a perfect alignment, 1-to-1 ratio between salary rank and performance rank. And looking at the dots, the orange is much closer to that line, meaning that there is more of an aligned relationship between the wide receivers' performance and salary versus the running backs are more spread out. So it looks like GMs are paying the running backs more correctly, or the wide receivers more correctly compared to the running backs. And then comparing that ratio, I took the average EPA rank divided by salary rank for each player, and when that number is below 1, that means that their EPA rank is higher than their salary rank, meaning that they're outperforming their contracts. But if the number is greater than 1, that means that they have, like a lower EPA rank, being like 30 or something, but a higher salary rank, meaning that they're underperforming and they're overpaid per se. And both rookie running backs or rookie contract running backs and wide receivers had numbers above 1, meaning that they were underperforming. But this doesn't mean that they're being paid incorrectly. It could be due to the structure of rookie contracts. It could be where they're drafted per se, because rookie contracts are structured on draft place. So it's kind of more of a set rookie minimum thing. And then looking at the players On non-rookie deals, it's still the wide receivers still have a little bit more correlation than the running backs, but it's more spread out across that purple line. And then going back to the ratios, both of the numbers are still above or below, above the one, meaning that they are underperforming for their value. But instead of rookie contract being the excuse, I think that it may be a premium for these players. You know, the people who are still in the league and still performing as they are the top 25 in their position. GMs are willing to pay more for them, you know? So they're willing to pay extra above that salary or above that performance, you know, to get that veteran presence in the locker room or to have those best players. As I said earlier, running backs, you know, it's hard to come across them since there's so little and little longevity. And then, you know, the best wide receivers, they make such an impact, as I said, with the positive EPA. And then, you know, to give an example of this, like a player who came from a rookie deal to this new contract. Shout out Kathan for the idea. Super Bowl MVP from my Seattle Seahawks, Kenneth Walker. He was on a contract year, and on his rookie contract, he was making about $2 million per year. But after winning the Super Bowl MVP, Seahawks decided they didn't want to pay him, and the Chiefs did, and they were paying him $14.35 million per year. And this arises the question, is he really worth 6.8 times more than he was when he was drafted? I guess the Kansas City Chiefs do. But they're paying for that, you know, that veteran premium. And, you know, there's not much guys like him at the age. So it can make sense why they want to pay him that much. So are they actually underpaid? From my research, I don't believe that running backs are universally underpaid. You know, the top players, they're earning the premium because they're the best, you know, relative to performance. But wide receivers, they do produce far more value using EPA per dollar. So the difference is, you know, in pay reflect contract structure and the sustained value not being underpaid.